happy to be. I think I'm dying here, man.
Through the haunted mansions and floors, the creek, they lead us to the places from which we dare not peek. A journey through fear and the realm of the night. In every word they speak, our hearts ignite with fright. Welcome to the horror show, the Deep Cut Podcast, where nightmares come alive, ready to take their blow. Tune in to the chilling delight on the airwaves of the night. Let the darkness grow. Let the darkness grow.
Aw, yeah! It's that time again for another weekly episode of the Deep Cut Podcast with your host, Rottin Roger DeMarco. And today, I'm doing something a little bit different. I am bringing in a champion of physical media, the defender of schlock, and an all-around Canadian badass, Mr. Kevin Martin.
Feel what air? I feel it, baby. I'm all ready. Hey, Pat.
I love it. Sir, I have been wanting to sit down and talk with you since I saw the last video store, so I can't believe you're here.
Well, I can't believe you reached out to me. Thanks, man. It was funny because I'm like, has he seen the movie, or does he just know I'm one of the few, defenders of video store culture and have a video store? So, which would be fascinating enough to talk about, obviously, as well.
Yes, sir.
But combination of the both, I suppose, and I'll take it.
When I saw the movie, which it caused me to deep dive into who you were, because I had no idea. You live all the way over there in Canada, so I had no idea that you were like a real deal champion of cinema. And once I started looking into you, I was like, I think we may have been, separated at birth, because we're very, very similar. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's it's funny because some people have kids to leave their legacy, and other people just make a silly little movie about what their life was about. So kids deal with, and I can't afford it. So hell, let's make a micro budget movie instead about video store life. And it's crazy because most people that have seen the movie that have reached out to me from other parts of the world, whether they like the movie or like, yeah, the movie was great, but then they're more blown away. Like, wait a minute, you actually have a video store?
Mm-hmm.
Are you at this point? Are you just kind of playing yourself? And I'm like, well, it's about an 80% exaggerated version of me, but it's me to a certain degree. So it's been pretty cool just to get the discussion about video stores and physical media back in the limelight, I suppose.
Yeah. Way I liken it, whenever I recommend this movie to people, which I do constantly, is because I always push Holliston on people. I don't know if you're a fan of the TV show Holliston.
Yeah, I did a podcast with Joe Lynch. Actually had us on his show there a couple months ago. So
there you go.
Yeah, I dug Holliston. I remember the first time I watched it, though. I have both seasons in the store, but I was like, damn it, what's up with that horrible laugh track? I always laugh tracks. I'm like, oh no, I get it. It's a throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Holliston is the Big Bang Theory for horror movie fans.
Yeah, it doesn't, because I feel like Big Bang Theory kind of mocks or downplays nerd culture a little bit. It's a little bit of a slap in the face, but they started dialing it in, deeper as the seasons went. But Holliston to me is like so many deep cuts.
So many deep cuts. And I was never a fan of the Big Bang Theory. I don't understand how it lasted 13 seasons. And it's like you said, I almost found it was like a minstrel show for nerds. It was like, we're not like that. I mean, we're cool, man.
Yeah, so it's a little condescending, and Holliston is not. But you like with Holliston, they definitely play like shittier versions of themselves, and it's not to say you play a shitty version of yourself, but you know what I mean. You kind of lean into the like lone dude running the video store, and
Living in a store, yeah, that's a big question I get asked. Do I actually live in the real video store? No. Luckily, I don't. So, if it came to it, I consider it just to keep the.
So before I get into like all these other questions, I got to ask you this, because we watched the special features and we were blown away at the set construction, the building of the faux video store, right? So how close to your real video store layout is the faux video store?
Very close, actually. Dimensions are almost identical. Both stores are basement stores, if you will. My store is a basement store. The couch in the corner where the TV is, that's basically the same layout. The desk made out of VHS tapes, that's all true.
Nice.
Like I said, the only difference is my bathroom does not have a bath in it, and it's not nearly that grimy.
You got to play up the grime, you know?
You really play up the grime. And then the biggest replacement is for the fake movie, we had to make like 4,000 fake VHS tapes, where the fake store is just VHS. Obviously, the real store, it's 4K, Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS. So There's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
The real store is way more cluttered with memorabilia and stuff like that. I've had the real store I just had my 20th anniversary over the summer, and it's turning into a museum because people in my city, they've donated like trinkets and collectibles to the store. It's like paying tribute to the video store, and I'll never say no.
Yeah.
Goes by, something new shows up. My store is littered with Jaws memorabilia because I know Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. But yeah, dimension-wise, pretty close. All the short films leading up to the movie, those were actually shot in my real video store.
Nice.
I met my directors as customers in my video store.
Is that how you met Steve Kostanski as well?
Okay, so with Steve, aside from having the video store, which has made no money in 20 years, but what it has given me the luxury to do, started a film festival here in our city. It was called Dead Fest, and we ran it for 13 years. We'd take over the local cinema for a week in October. We would bring in cult cool movies and retro ones, and if we could afford it, we'd fly in actors and guests. So I met Steve Kostanski when we flew him in for Father's Day in 2000. So Steve, Matt, Adam, Connor, we met all those guys. And then they kept coming back, so we kept showing Manborg and then The Editor. And then we shot a web series in 2015 that almost feels like a follow-up to the movie. Like, if you can find the web series, it is on YouTube. It's called Straight to Video, a B-Movie Odyssey. The web series actually opens up with me attempting to burn down my store because I've lost everything. But first, I'm going to play a magical, be a beta tape of all things. And I get sucked into the TV instead of stuff coming out of the TV. Mm-hmm. So episode is me bouncing from one B movie to another, like Quantum Leap or something. I got to use my movie magic. And that's the first time we actually got introduced to Beaver Lake Massacre, Action Jackson, and the Prey Stalker. We just brought that all back for the movie. And like, well, what worked and how can we do this movie, in 80 minutes?
I love that.
It's a funny story. So I live in Edmonton, Alberta, which is Western Canada. But because we couldn't shoot it in my real store for reasons, and the lighting crews, they were all out in Toronto, which is Eastern Canada, of course. So we shot the movie about 45 minutes outside of Toronto and Hamilton. And while we were shooting the movie, they were also shooting In a Violent Nature at the same time. And so the dummy in the last video store, after Matt gets decapitated, is laying there. Well, we had that dummy laying there for a couple days on set, and the boys come like, "Hey, you guys done with the dummy yet?" Like, why? Like, well, Chad's shooting this movie up in the woods there. We need that same dummy. So it's funny that dummy was used both in A Violent Nature and the last video store.
Oh,
I thought that was.
God. I love that. Sidebar, I love that movie. That movie is so fucking amazing. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why no one had thought of that. You know what I mean? Like, just follow the killer.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, that movie is so divisive talking to my customers in the video store. Some guys love it. I've sold the shit out of it many a times. But I get the people that don't like it too, because they're like, Kev, I mean, the kills are cool, but then it's just 20-minute nature walks in between. And I'm like, yeah, I said, you know what the movie reminded me straight up was the 15th video game.
Exactly.
Where you're just, and you're like, okay, where are the kids? Where are the kids? God, I'm just walking around here. It's taking forever. And then you get that 30 seconds of gratification when you find one of the kids. Like, fuck yeah, man, I'm gonna kill the shit out of them, and you do. And it's like, okay, back to walking we go again until we can hopefully find the next kid.
Yeah,
that's what the movie was. And if you enjoy it, great. But it's not for everybody. But yeah, we're getting a sequel.
Yeah,
so
I am all for it. I think you know, when someone comes along and takes something that we've seen a billion times and they just tweak the formula just enough, you know, because it is, like you said, the dialogue and everything is straight an afterthought. It's cheese. It's in the distance, you know, because we're just following this killer. But the way that it feels is just so refreshing compared to like if it had just been a standard slasher film. So it's like we've seen this a billion times, but we've never seen it from this angle. And that's literally the selling point, is like, this angle is nice. So, you know what I mean?
And I know it threw a lot of people off. There was no like musical score. There's nothing, right? I mean, just to add to what they were going for. So again, they took a chance, and there's a huge audience for it. It was a success, and yeah, bring on part 2. Let's see if they can make any crazier kills. That's gonna be a tough.
So, is there plans for a Last Video Store part 2? Like, is that I know you said you did the web series thing, but like, is there a plan for a, you know, continuation of the story?
I'd love to. I mean, it's so meta for me because I knew people of my generation or video stores. I remember video stores would get something out of it, you know, because a video store is a very universal theme, right? You know, it doesn't matter what part of the world you're from. I mean, everybody had a video store. So, I mean, if I don't know, if somebody would give us foolishly a little bit more money to do a follow-up, I mean, the idea of like me and Castor bouncing from movie to movie together, like the ending was obviously a cheesy tribute to the 95 Mortal Kombat at the very end, you know. It never worked out. We were hoping that at the last minute we could have convinced Steve to give us permission to use Psycho Gorman at the very end. God, but like, nah, we'll just do our own thing, kind of thing, because that would have been kind of funny to tie the universe, because there is we've known, like I said, I mean, with the cameos in our movie, with you know, that's Adam Brooks as the bad guy in the Fury of the Viper movie, and of course Matt Kennedy as Dougie Taggart from Beaver Lake Massacre.
Yeah, well, Astron 6 guys, yeah,
they're all in there, right? And then you might have missed it, but we unintentionally just made the most Canucksploitation movie ever, because at the beginning, the movie that Vanessa's watching on the television before I make my entrance, that's our buddies from Turbo Kid and Summer of '84, of course, that made that. And then Lowell Dean, the director of Wolf Cop and Dark Match, he is the commentator at the Beaver Lake Massacre movie.
Nice.
He is the because Lowell was shooting Dark Match with Chris Jericho in my city in Edmonton here, and I dragged him into the video store. I put a green screen behind, like, Lowell, cameo, let's go now. And it's cool that, and our good buddy Jeremy Gardner, the one American in it, and we've known Jeremy for years from The Battery and a lot of the Joe Vigos movies. He's been to Edmonton like 4 times. This is like his adoptive Canadian city when he comes to Canada. He just loves our donairs, and we chuck darts and drink beers. But yeah, Jeremy is one of he's the soldier in Prey Stalker. He's the captain in it. So
hell yeah,
legs everywhere in that movie,
dude. That's awesome. I mean, well, and you know, you gotta like bring in all your buddies. You know what I mean? Because then it's fun for everybody, and it doesn't feel like work, because it just feels like hanging out with crew. You know? And
when we did all the short films, we're just a ragtag group of 4 or 5 of us in my real store. You hold the lights, you do this, you build this. It was a team effort. This was a bit different for me because I fly out there, and aside from my 2 directors, Tim and Cody, who are my buddies, and Josh, who played Jackson, we've all been friends for over a decade. Everybody else, the lighting guys, the camera guys, makeup guys, they don't know who I am. They're hired. They live out east. So my first day on the set, and we shot the movie in order, is literally when I'm walking and introducing myself to Vanessa, and I was like, holy shit, there's like 10 people behind the camera staring at me, holding booms and running the rigs and everything. And I'm like, oh, wow, they think I'm a real actor. Like, I had the worst imposter syndrome ever, right? So, but it was a 15-day shoot, and I wanted to get to know all the grips and everybody. I was, smoking with the sound guys outside. And
Right.
but I didn't want that. But once they realized, like, oh, you actually have a video store where you're from? Like, yeah, man, that's why we're doing this. This is a super passion project for us. And so the guys that didn't know us, they got invested in the project too. Like, they worked overtime. The last day of filming principal photography, we filmed 23 hours that day because we knew it was like, this is it. We got to pack our shit up and go back home. And then we did all the reshoots out in Vancouver where Tim and Cody live.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's rough, man. 23 hours.
We knew, like, scheduling wise, we had 15 days plus. After 10 of the first 15, after that, COVID kicked in, and we all got down. Vanessa got COVID, and one of my directors got COVID, and it was up to the guys who were like paying the money to get this thing made. Judging by the footage, do we shut this whole thing down, or do we pay an extra week of Airbnbs in the city where nobody lives in to front this cast and crew of 25 people? Luckily, they were happy with what we had shot so far, so they forked a little bit more money. I mean, it was super micro budget movie. We pitched it at the film market in Montreal at the Fantasia Film Festival. Mm. A lot of the guys that were fans of our shorts, and we've done a lot of shorts, and they're all out there online. I think they're on my store website too. They love the shorts, but they just couldn't wrap their heads around how can you make a feature 80 to 90 minute movie in one location and make it entertaining, right? That was the challenge. And I think my directors, they took that personally, and they said, we can make it entertaining. This isn't Clerks. This is something different, you know? Yeah, it was a hectic, even though the world premiere in Austin, Texas at Fantastic Fest, the movie still wasn't done. It was like percent done. And it was tough sitting to that world premiere. So I'm like,
missing like Foley and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, Foley. So the sound mixing was a bit off still. So, but you're on a deadline, right? And
right.
I'm a guy who ran a film festival for years, and going to big film festivals to book movies. You probably wouldn't be surprised how many movies you would see that are not complete. Like, but they have to, there's a deadline, right. And we're always comes up and apologizing. Hey guys, some of the effects aren't all there, and blah blah blah. But
missing, yeah,
yeah, missing reel, yeah, exactly.
Oh man, but yeah. So going back to like what you said about trying to make something exciting in one location. This is a shameless plug for myself. I don't know if you know that we filmed a really micro budget, cheesy slasher film in our own house. So, yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Tapehead: The Return of Jacob Cobb.
Oh, I've heard of this. Did it release?
Yeah, we released it on Blu-ray. Yeah. I need to send you a copy, dude. That was a weird challenge that we had because we set a goal, and originally we were like, for 20 grand, we could make something pretty gnarly, and we didn't hit the 20 grand. I think we were in between like $7,000 and $8,000. And originally the plan was like go to Airbnbs and shoot different locations. But then when we only had like $7,500, I was like, hey babe, what do you think about us shooting it in our own house? And that way if anything gets damaged, it's on us.
Sure.
So, you just have a slasher kill everyone in one central location, kind of a la Friday the 13th 4. What was my inspiration, and it's a cheesy, not great movie, but it was like my first feature. So, yeah. But when you have a location like the video store, dude, you have so many unique things that you can do. And I mean, you fill that time. There's no lulls in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, I think my directors, they definitely went like with the Edgar Wright style of like smash cuts and a lot of and of course you can cheat because you have the fake movies within the movie too.
Right.
And my favorite thing was, I love the music in it. That was my friend Brandon Boucher, who was our camera guy for all the shorts, but he couldn't film the movie because of reasons. So he was super bummed out. But then we ran out of money for the music score, and then luckily his second talent was music. this was his first attempt at ever doing a score, and he hammered out like 70 tracks in 2 months. We could barely pay him. There's a vinyl release of it too. It's beautiful. The record is like Prince Purple Rain Purple. It's very simple.
That's amazing.
But, yeah, and the other big thing I loved was the lighting. Like, I love when like Prey Stalker was green and Beaver Lake Massacre was, you know, blue, and then obviously Fury was like orangey, fiery red. And it's not, the movie's not an anthology, but it kind of feels like an anthology. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like 3 different stories that just kind of get smashed together.
Yeah.
And
I also really like, my wife and I talk about this all the time. Like, if you're in charge and you're making an indie movie with a low budget, the cardinal sin is just white, sterile, boring lighting. You know what I mean? You go back to the Italian slashers and the giallo stuff and everything like that. So blue equals nighttime, green is like gross, you know, red. And so I love when a movie is not afraid to be like, this doesn't have to be motivated lighting. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be motivated. It's just colorful for the sake of color.
The weird thing is, we had to rewrite on the spot so much stuff. Like the actual filming script is quite different than how the movie turned out. I know the ending was completely different. We reshot the ending in Vancouver, actually. The corner of the video store where the television was, when we tore the set down, we had to ship that one corner across the country for reshoots. So, yeah, the original ending was very different. The magnet idea was a last minute, like, fuck, dude, like, let's just go with the magnets. It's the most obvious, simple answer, you know?
Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards with the film, how it's flammable and stuff, and like, let's just quickly explain to the audience how this works. Or even the whole idea of like, where did the cursed tape come from? Why is it cursed? And I said, we made up that scene where I just explain it to her in like 2 minutes on set. Like, it's a cursed tape. You put it in, bad things happen. What can I say? You know, it's simple as that. You don't need a backstory. Like, this is a horror movie genre audience. You know,
yeah.
Like, just they don't need the long wind of it or the legend of how this tape maybe they'll cap in the sequel. Who knows? But probably not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ambiguity is just fine. You know, we literally did the same thing with Tapehead. His rewinder is cursed. Why? Because. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works. People want to know. People ask me all the time. I get messages all the time. Why? I don't know. I guess you have to wait until we do another one if that ever happens, you know. But it is what it is. All right, so this is off the beaten track because I want people to get to know you as a human, not as just an actor and a video store guy. So I wanted to know, what is something that you watch on YouTube, a guilty pleasure that the average person wouldn't know that you watch?
Oh, on YouTube, a guilty pleasure. And I do have a lot of sitting time at the store between customers. And even though there's a movie playing in the background, well, I'm a huge sports guy, but like guilty pleasure, shit, it rotates. Like I swear to, sometimes my algorithm's all screwed up. I'm like, why am I watching the best of America's Got Talent? Or what are those? What do they call those things? Where like it's like a crowd in an airport or whatever, and they just bust out in a song and shit. They're all in on it.
Like a flash mob type of deal.
I was watching there was a great one. I think it was over in Europe. They did Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was like the whole town center. It was just like, fuck me, man, that was unreal. Gets me all misty up.
I love it.
Like, because the video, I get all my customers tell me this all the time, because the store is a basement store, and when you walk in, it is a flash flood of nostalgia. It's like an escape to a different era, and it goes without saying, the world's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Fucked up right now. A lot of craziness is going on, right?
Word.
So, come in the store, it's like, thank you. Can we just nerd out and talk about movies? I actually have a sign in my store, and I'm very serious about it. You walk in, it's a VHS tape, and on it says, no politics, no religion, only movie nerd talk allowed.
Yes.
And once people come in, and because I know a lot of my customers, right? Like, and I'll know what their backgrounds are. So I might have like the most left-wing progressive person in my store next to the most right-wing, conservative person, but they don't know that about each other. All they're arguing about is which sleepaway camp movie is the best one, which is awesome. That's what you need to be arguing about.
Yeah.
By the way, part 2. How can you not love Bruce Wayne's sister as the killer? It's awesome.
I do love me some part 3. I put them on kind of equal footing, even though 3 was the afterthought, right? Like they filmed them back to back, so 3 had, the leftover budget got 3 to the finish line.
And you know what's funny about that? Those 2 sequels is not only is it Bruce Springsteen's sister, of course, but the final girls are the siblings of Emilio and Charlie and Melanie Griffith for the 3rd one. So I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, and she was in Renee Estevez, right? She was in Intruder.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Intruder. One of the greatest slasher movies in a supermarket. One of the funny slasher movies in a supermarket. But
some of the best gore ever. So.
Oh, dude, so good. And see the Raimi brothers and Bruce's cameo at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also love that the DVD boasts starring Bruce Campbell, and he shows up for like 42 seconds.
It's like, what was the deal? Were they shooting Evil Dead 2 around the same time, and they just were all buddies, and they happened to be all? It was in Michigan, right?
I think so, because that's where they're all from. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that was Scott Spiegel directed Intruder, right?
Yeah. And did Tappert have something to do with that? I can't remember. I'd have to. It's been a hot minute, but.
It really has. It's just so you know, it's still a popular seller and a renter at the video store. That Synapse release is really nice, so it always flows in.
It's funny that your video store is in a basement because, kayfabe wise, I'm in a cabin in Brower, Illinois. I'm deep in the woods in a cabin, but about 30 feet to the left, I built a video store in my basement.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it originally started, it was just a room that had my collection in it. And then the beginning of our YouTube channel, I was like, what if we built 3B video as a nod to Joe Bob Briggs, the blood, boobs, and beasts, And so we built a faux video store, and that's where everything started. And then it progressed into making a movie and then making a podcast and, building a cabin in the woods. But yeah, basement video stores, man.
How it all starts, man. Well, and for the first 15 to 20 years of my store, what made it even more weird was above my store, out of all the businesses, it was a daycare. Wow. So upstairs, weird movies downstairs. The kids were the scariest thing in the building. Don't get me wrong, but it was because you'd walk down the stairs at my store, and that's where the parents kept the strollers. So you're already weirded out when you're walking down. You're like, okay, I see a bunch of baby strollers. That's kind of bizarre. And then you're seeing all the horror movie stuff all over the place. And but I don't know. The parents love the store. They grab movies up and they pick up their kids. So
yes. Does your video store have the red velvet curtain with the adults only section?
There is a red velvet curtain, but sadly that just leads to the room where the rented movies are. And I was always a bigger fan of the saloon doors. I remember I worked at I was going to say a normal video store in the 90s, but I worked at a video store. I worked the graveyard shift too, where the porn section was so popular, it literally was half of the store. It just was. This is like 1995, 96, and it was massive. I mean, do we have a section in my real store with that? Yes, but I should put a little curtain on it, because Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, to me, if it played in a theater, if it was shot on film, on 42nd Street, it had a script and a budget. It's not just a porno. It is a piece of cinema history that had a budget. And man, some of those old school flicks are getting better releases than the mainstream Hollywood stuff. They're getting 4Ks. They come with books and posters.
True.
And loaded. Yeah. So,
Sex World.
Dude, Sex World. There's some hilarious ones. I was thinking. I was talking to my girlfriend. I'm like, we really need to get a section of just all the movie parody pornos. Especially the horror ones, like Repenetrator and Edward Penis Hands and the Vibrator Massacre and Evil Head. Dude, Evil Head. The Evil Dead. The budget on that looked pretty impressive because, you know, yeah, it's an industry all on its own.
Yeah, the budget for the Friday the 13th porn parody seemed to be pretty high too. That was a weird one. My co-host was like, I don't know if you've ever seen this, because I'm a big Jason guy. So he's like, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but you need to borrow this. And I'm like, that's kind of weird that you like out of nowhere were like, take this. And then like I'm sending him Snapchats, like watching it analytically, like that's a pretty good, you know, that's a pretty good kill scene or whatever. You know, you're like, what?
It is great. My only disappointment with some of the newer ones is they're not doing clever titles anymore. Now it's just Friday the 13th, a porn parody.
Yeah.
You know, come on. Put some more thought into the titles.
It's like, or like, know? This ain't Ghostbusters. And you're like, well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because Vinegar Syndrome does such a good job, I mean, it's crazy to think that 5 years ago, Vinegar Syndrome was only synonymously known for, I guess 10 years ago, we're putting out adult films. But now they picked up all the B movies that maybe Scream Factory and Arrow are like, no, these are below us. And then Vinegar swoops in and, well, we'll take The Invisible Maniac and we'll give it a 4K release and give you a 2-hour documentary to go with it.
Damn right.
Their side project, which is Quality X now, which still deals with the, as we lovingly call them, the woohoo movies. But I got one in a couple weeks ago. It was called the Fireworks Woman. And I'm like, looking at the cover. I'm like, why do I recognize the dude in the cover? And I flip it over. It's 1975, directed by Wes Craven. It was a Wes Craven movie that I did not know existed. And he made it after he did The Last House on the Left. Apparently, he couldn't get a gig after that for a few years, so he took the money and said yes to making this porno. And a girlfriend's like, we need to watch this. I'm like, yeah, because I want to see if you can tell, aside from the obvious sex stuff, that this was shot by a director. And, man, the lighting's great. And not only that, he got his good buddy David Hess, Krug from Last House, to do a for the movie, too.
Nice.
And Wes in the movie a lot. Not having sex, though. I think he plays like a devil god type of character. He's sort of like a top hat and has a star. And he never spoke of it. Like in the actual film, like it says directed by Wes Craven on the case, but on the film itself, it's a fake name. But yeah, I mean, he got paid, and then boom, a few months later, he got the Hills Have Eyes gig, and the rest is history.
Is that around the time? Because he did that weird Invitation to Hell, I believe.
Yeah, I think. After The Hills Have Eyes, was it not? Or pretty close. Because he did Invitation to Hell, and then he also did The Summer of Fear with Linda Blair.
Yeah. I wish I liked that one a little more. I'm not a great big fan of that one, but.
Yeah, but it's like you have to see them all, right? I mean, right. So now I'm like, well, I've seen all the Wes Craven movies now. Mm-hmm. I think. But I'm still convinced, pound for pound, out of all the great directors of that era, like. It took me years to accept it, but hands down, the one who had banger after banger that cannot be topped is John Carpenter. Like it's not even close.
Yeah, and it's funny because Carpenter doesn't like necessarily care for some of his stuff, or like critics weren't kind to it, and it's all awesome. It's all awesome.
It is, and it's weird because people forget that you won't, but most of his stuff did not do well in theaters. Like it bombed. And again, man, we could go all over the place this conversation, but this is how cult movies are built up, because people discover them at the video stores in the 80s or late night cable, and they get talked about and they get passed forward and passed to buddies, and they're traded. With the streaming world we live in now, I feel the whole identity of a cult movie, which means it takes a while to find an audience, but eventually it'll get a fan base. I'm scared that that's going to go away now, because there's so much content out there that's being piled on piled that something that was new 2 or 3 months ago on the streaming site and is only exclusively on the streaming site is going to be forgotten about. Unless you're literally searching for it, it's not pop. And we're at a video store, you walk in, you're like, ooh, I remember that cover. And I'll proudly display these movies and push them hard.
I think like that's a big also a big problem is attention span. When you're scrolling and you're just looking at covers, but you're not really looking at covers. You're just going bop, 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 bop. And then it takes you an hour to pick something. You give it 10 minutes and then you're like, nah, or whatever. But with the video store, it was like a hunt. You know, you're going in and you're just up and down that same aisle. You might go up and down that same aisle for an hour and pick something up. And if it's got the embossed cover, like, you know, like Dead Pit or something, you know, you like just rubbing your finger across it like, oh my God, like, and you read that synopsis and you're like, do I want this one? You carry it around for a little bit and then you know, and then you end up with like a stack of 6 and you rented them. You spent the $3.17 or whatever per rental and you got them for 3 days. Like, there was no, I'm gonna watch 5 minutes of it and take it out. Like, I'm committed. You know, you ride it out, and then it's like for me, it's committed to memory. It's committed to every activity that happened that day, what friends I was with, whatever, you know. So like, it lives on forever. I can be like, remember when the first time I saw Sidekicks? You know, we went and practiced karate in the garage or whatever. You know, like
you literally took the words out of my mouth, because that's how we compare the difference between streaming and physical media. You know, you're right. If you're not into something on streaming in 5 minutes, I'll get back to it. You know what? Odds are you'll never get back to it. I always tell people, like, go look at your continue watching list and even ask yourself if you remember even starting half of these movies. But at the video store, you know, if a couple's coming in or it's a couple buddies and they're grabbing movies, like 3 movies, and you have them for a week in my store, you could have picked the shittiest 3 movies of all time, but you will watch all 3 of them, because if nothing else, you get to return to me and we can bitch about it and talk about it together, and that's also the cool thing. There's that human connection, whether it's going to a movie store or a record shop or a bookstore, you want to talk with like-minded people, you know?
Exactly.
The coolest thing out of it is, you know, I'm sitting behind my desk and some like 3 regulars are in my store, but they don't know each other, but the store is small enough. They might overhear one guy mention a movie and then he might chime in, and next thing you know, these 3 perfect strangers are nerding out about the same thing for the next 20 minutes. And it's super cathartic, and it's a very communal thing. And, you know, we're living in a world now where the more, you know, it's almost like that movie WALL-E, where it shows the 2 heavyset people and the food's coming to them and everything is coming. You don't have to go out anymore. And I don't think that's a healthy way to do it, man. We're losing our social skills.
Yeah.
So that's just me, of course. But I mean, I see it. And of course, obviously I hear from a lot of my customers how happy they are that, wow, you're still open. Thank God.
Well,
you know,
and it builds a friendship, you know, like with me and my co-host. I'll use the convention circuit as the example, but it could very well as easily been that I met him at a video store. But we were at a convention, a horror convention, and we happened to both be in line, and we're from like 3.5 hours apart from one another. And this dude's my best friend as of for 11 years now. But, you know, we're standing in line, and his wife is an extrovert and I'm not really an extrovert, and she just chimes in and is like, where are you guys from? And starts talking to us. By the end of that weekend, like, me and him were like, this is my favorite movie. This is, you know, and we're buying each other stocking hats and like going and meeting celebrities together and like, dude, I got you this pen. I got you, like, and then it's like exchanging numbers, and then like, we'll get together next month. Like, I'll travel, you travel, like, you know, and then you have like, but when it's like online and it's, you know, a comment on a trailer or whatever, the chances of you connecting with someone and making a lifelong friendship, it's almost impossible.
Let's be honest, if it's online, you have a better chance of getting in some useless argument with somebody than, you know, which, you know, that's the difference. No, you're right, though. And it's very, I mean, I wouldn't have met my directors if it wasn't for the video store, right? Or Film Fest. And every time we were able to bring in guests to our Film Fest, when they found out I had a video store, because the movie theater we used was right down the street. So like, wait, you have a video store? Maybe wanted to come check out my video store. So we had Henry Rollins as a guest of ours. When He Never Died, he was in my store for like 2 hours, just zoning in. And I was like, it's fucking Henry Rollins, dude. Like, this is like idol worship right here. It was like having your cool grumpy uncle in your store. Our first guest was Michael Biehn, obviously Corporal X, Terminator, all that. Solid dude. Danielle Harris was a guest of ours. She was in my store. And the most interesting one was Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just corrected Willow Creek. Now, for me, being an 80s kid, I'm like, fuck yeah, Zed, Police Academy, you know? Obviously, nothing like that. But the funniest thing was his first movie he directed was Shakes the Clown, right? At that time it was out of print, but I had a copy in my store, and I told him that. So I ran to my store and I gave him the copy at the theater for the movie. He's like, "Well, how much you want for it?" I'm like, "Dude, you made the movie; it's free." I just thought he thought it was funny that I had to come all the way to Edmonton, Canada, when I live in Los Angeles, to find a copy of my movie that I cannot find in LA anywhere. You know, which cool.
That's wild, dude. Yeah, I might have geeked out, and I might have attempted to do the Police Academy impression. I probably would have made a total fool of myself.
Rough on the vocal cords for sure. Yeah.
What am I, chopped liver over here? Can I ask him a question?
All right, Walter. I guess you can ask him a question.
What's the scariest thing you've seen at your store?
Okay. The video store is located on a very popular strip here in the city. All the bars, the nightlife is there too. Like, obviously, I think I told you when I'm not at the store, I DJ punk and metal at a couple of dive bars down the street. Mm-hmm. So, get an eclectic amount of people going down that street. My hours, I close relatively early every day because no need to stay open after 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. because that's when the shadies come out, you know?
Right.
I mean, I've had a lot of tweakers in my store. I've had, we got the old self-defense baseball bat behind the desk. By the way, the baseball bat, because I used to get the most random movie promotional items delivered to my store. It's a Hardcore Henry baseball bat they mailed me.
Nice.
When that movie... And it's a legit baseball bat. It's just engraved with Hardcore Henry, you know. I thought, wow, what a random prop to have.
That is.
We almost, when we were filming one of our shorts, we almost died of carbon monoxide poisoning. That was pretty crazy.
Whoa, all right, Gene Hackman up in here.
Oh, shit, man. So the scene was, this is that web series I was saying about. I'm getting sucked in the TV, Evil Dead 2. At the end, and we at first we were just trying an electric leaf blower to get that effect, and that shit wasn't working. So my director had the brilliant idea of bringing in the gas-powered leaf blower, which looked great. And we're all like, it's like midnight. We're like, man, I'm feeling kind of lightheaded and shit, and we all were. And then there's no windows down there. So all of a sudden, one of our helpers, she gets faint-headed. Like, oh fuck, we're all dying right now, guys. We gotta get. How weird would that have been? The next comes in 6 people trying to make shitty web series from poisoning or whatever.
Fucking Hereditary up in here.
Fuck you. I've had some weird experiences the first couple of years, especially because all their video stores were still around, and I didn't want to be I didn't want to compete against Blockbuster, so I went as crazy, really insane, like August Underground, Cannibal Holocaust. That's what my store was built off of, right?
Yeah.
By the way, Holocaust is still the #1 selling movie 20 years later. I've sold it about 600 times. But
that super badass special edition is awesome, though.
Sweet, right? You can watch it with or without the animal shit. I always warn people, you don't have to see that if you don't want to, and that's fine. But bring it up because we had it made the news. I know it was on one of the podcasts of last podcast on the left years ago. There was a fellow living in Edmonton named Mark Twitchell, and he was a filmmaker that ended up killing some guy a la Dexter style, and it made the news. Anyways, I had a bunch of people come in, and they were berating me that I caused this because he happened to the store a couple times, I guess, allegedly.
Yeah.
And so, it was all the usual satanic panic shit.
Movies made him do it, you know.
Yeah. So, but to be honest, the store is more of a charming thing because it's so unique and it's such a retro thing now that. How about instead of scared, kids freak me out. I get freaked out by kids. That's why I could never have kids. But I have had baby photos taken in my store. Parents want their children to hang out with Chucky and the Elm Street house. Wedding photos in my store. I've had music videos shot in my store by bands.
I love that.
But yeah, aside from almost dying, I had 2 massive floods this year. Just sucked. It's Also the video store, it's also a recording studio for bands at nighttime too.
I love that. That's so like in the back room, technically, instead of a porn back room, you have a recording studio?
Yeah, it's a full-fledged recording studio, so bands always, and it's funny, we get a lot of bands that come in from out of town that never been there, they just know the address, they're walking in with their gear, and they're like, is this a recording studio? And I'm like, yeah, just knock on the Full Cheese Zombie poster, they'll let you in, it's a secret pack there, you know.
I love it.
But no, I don't know, man, the store, people ask me to like, aren't you freaked out by like all the posters and the knickknacks? I was like, no, man, this is like home to me, man. These are my friends, you know.
Right.
I wish Toy Story was real, and every day I locked up fucking my Jasons and Bruce Campbell figures would be playing with each other and hanging. And
no kidding.
Yeah, it's the scariest thing about the store is not having it anymore. You know, you've been doing it so long. It's like, well, this is my lot in life. I'll keep this bad boy going. You know, I got no retirement plan, you know. Eventually I'm going to look like, you know, I joke with my girlfriend. I'm like, look, when I die, I'm going to look like the Crypt Keeper, my body. So just, you know, save the bones, put some wires in me, put some fake eyes, and whoever keeps the store going, just put me in a glass or whatever and make me say shit.
Some wax, just wax figure you, stick you in the corner,
Yeah. That'd be fine with me.
I love it. I love that you haven't had, like, truly scary, dangerous things happen other than, you know, the accidental carbon monoxide. I mean, a few crackheads here and there is expected, but the flood thing bums me because I have a basement video store. Same situation. You lose, so I don't know if you lost things, but
like the movies are fine because they're not in the ground, but lost a lot of like one of my like a lot of stuff got destroyed, and the building is about 70 years old, right? And they finally fixed a problem. It turned out like the trees outside, the roots were growing into the building and kind of clogging everything up. So massive rainstorm, it just like it couldn't deal with it. And it comes with the territory though. The cool thing is, like, and this is really one of the perks of working in bars at night. The first flood happened like around midnight, and I was freaking out. Like, it was an inch deep, and the minute I posted about it, there was like fucking 12 buddies there with shop vacs at like 2 a.m. Everybody just came, and like I had a couple that they were regulars at my store, but they had a child, and they brought their 6-year-old kid with them at 1 a.m. to help out, you know.
Nice.
And it warms the heart, man. It warms the nerdy heart through.
yeah, like passing the bucket up the steps, like go, yeah.
Go.
I love it.
Save it.
See, we got maybe a foot of water, and it happened like that. And a whole like bottom row of DVDs and a lot of VHS, and then a lot of, you know, your cardboard standees and stuff like that. It's like,
yeah, my cardboard, I did lose. I mean, I tried to salvage them. I had to cut it in half or whatever, you know. But yeah, it really hurts. I did lose. This one really hurt. It was a gift. It was a working script from Psycho from '59. My now girlfriend, she found it on eBay from some guy in the U.S. who's like, or some woman whose husband worked on Psycho, and I don't know how much she paid for it, but it was really surreal, like to flip the thing open. There was a few hundred of them, but this one managed to, it had like, you know, the date changes on the bottom, script revivals. It was just,
that's so fucking cool.
That one hurt. That one hurt.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Man, that hurts me. I'm sad right now.
Look, us fellow cinephiles, we feel it, you know.
Yeah.
It's you know, you tell yourself it's just stuff. It's just stuff. But it's like, I can't replace that.
But it's my stuff, yeah. And it's some of it's super old and holds a place in film history, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So
it's fun. People come in that are new to the store, and they'll look at all the trinkets like, how much for that Bates Motel set? I'm like, that's not for sale. It's just decoration.
Yeah.
The joke is a lot of stuff was given to me by now ex-girlfriends. So I'm like, well, at least something good came out of the relationship.
Right.
Because it's tough to have a personal life when you work 7 days a week. I mean, you have to have the most understanding person in the world. But you do what you got to do.
Yeah, this is true. Lucky for you, you got to keep things with, you know, having an ex-girlfriend. My ex-wife, took things, so I had to rebuild. So.
Oh, well, that's another thing. You get to know all your regulars. And after 20 years, I've seen regulars meet at my store, buy their collections here at my store, and then get divorced as this, or husband or the wife will come back like, Kev, I need to buy this. It's like, don't you already have it? Lost it in the divorce. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Man, that's tough. Yeah, because you're kind of like, as the guy who recommends movies and meets all these people, you kind of inadvertently take on a role of like a therapist.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Sadly, the couch was killed in the flood. We're getting a new couch this month, but yeah, I'm like, you know what? Being a video store guy, and I have one buddy that helps me out. That's why I'm not at work today, thankfully. But it's like being a cab driver or a bartender. You know, you're there, and we shoot the shit, and yeah, you know, And like I said, it's amazing how people have a bad day in their personal life. They'll come into the store just to chill out for 20 minutes and look at some movie titles and then resume their day. But it gives them a little bit of a battery recharge, I guess.
Right. You can tell what kind of day they're having by like what they're renting. They're like, I rented Sleeping with the Enemy and Single White Female, and you're like, whoa, all right.
Fatal, yeah, for sure. And algorithms are funny, man, but no, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And then the evolution of customers, like, you know, one of my regulars, when they were like 18, 17, all they wanted was the goriest shit out there, like the nastiest foreign, Japanese, guinea pig, whatever. And then, you know, 10 years later, they're not into the gore anymore. They still love horror movies. They're more into psychological thrillers.
Right.
They're like, you know, like, wow, my tastes have changed. Have they not? Yes, they have.
I think, you know, all teenagers, I don't know exactly how old you are, but I'll be 42 in June. So
I'll be 50 this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we were growing up, like those types of movies, the nastiest thing you could ever be recommended, it was like a rite of passage, you know? So you're, you know, yeah, like you said, Cannibal Holocaust or like Cannibal Ferox.
Yeah, like people want those movies. They have to experience them, you know, or that they think they do anyways. Sometimes it backfires. They watch them like, dear Lord, what was I thinking? Why did I rent Sallow 120 Days of Summer?
Because you want to watch people eat poop? I don't know.
Kids had a good time making that movie, apparently. A lot of chocolate.
So, yeah, sidebar, speaking of stuff like that, like my co-host, his wife, she was obsessed with Faces of Death growing up.
Yeah.
You know, the whole series. And so one year for Christmas, I bought her the set. And she believed, because she hadn't seen them since she was a kid, you know, and she believed they were real. And she was watching a dub of a dub of a dub. So, the lower quality helps. And I had to break her heart. I'm like, you know, that guy's not a real mortician. Like, that's an actor.
First giveaway, because that's a really terrible actor.
Yeah. What's his name? It's like something B. Gore or something.
Yeah, it was something, or rigor mortis. I don't know, but it was pretty ridiculous. But then, I mean, I remember when the Blair Witch Project came out in the summer of '99, you know, and people were like, that shit was real, man. I'm like, so you're telling me this big studio just profited up 3 people's deaths and released a snuff film for money? No. Shake your head. I
bought into that, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
I was a 14-year-old kid when that movie came out, and
I was 99. I was in our early 20s, yeah, I mean, I remember seeing it in the theater. We went to the midnight screening, and I was with like 3 roommates at the time, and I'm like, you know, nothing's happening in those last 2 minutes, and then we all get back home at like 2 in the morning, like, well, that movie didn't do anything for me. But on a not related note, is anybody tired? You guys want to stay up for a bit? Why don't we turn on this light over here? And,
right.
I mean, like, so psychologically, it did work, you know, and it's one of those movies you had to be there at the time. I mean, obviously, it's been found footage got just nuts and out of hand over the last 2 decades because of that movie. But
yeah, that movie. Also, another sidebar ties into that movie. I have a teenage daughter and a teenage son. My teenage daughter is 18. My teenage son is 16. Probably 3 years ago, we all went camping, and I took the projector and speakers, and I took Blair Witch Project.
Oh, I think you're gonna go Friday the 13th, but okay.
And we watched it in the tent, projected it on the tent, in the middle of nowhere, and my daughter was like, "This isn't scary," you know. She was like, so no selling it.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the movie, she was like, we need to sleep with lights on. You know, like
Yeah.
it totally, I was like, oh, it's not scary. It's not working. Like, you know, you got a good poker face, but yeah, it comes home with you.
It really does, yeah. And those are the best. Those are the best movies. The ones that stay with you. Because somebody always asks me, you know, obviously I'm going to get asked a lot. Cam, what's the scariest movie you got in your score? And I'm like, well, it depends on what kind of person you are. If you're scared of spiders, here, check out Arachnophobia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, last night, for instance, I worked at. I like to make ends meet. I do what any responsible 49-year-old guy does. I host punk rock bingo. But when I'm doing at the bar, I get to play movies in the background. So I thought, let's watch Eight-Legged Freaks. I had that playing, and one of my friends, she walks in, it's like, do not tell me there are spiders on the TV screen right now. I cannot stay, Cap. And I'm like, oh, come on. They're CGI. Look, Abe Arquette. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You get young Scarlett Johansson. Look at her. She's a baby on this.
And Doug.
You know, everybody's different with what freaks them out. It's funny.
Yeah, that's a loaded question, and I hate getting asked that question because that's kind of the same deal. You know, you got to be like, well,
like
subjective.
What's your favorite movie of all time? I guess the more I think about it as I get older is, well, what movie have I watched the most in my life that I'll never get bored of? And every time it's on, I'll stop everything. So for me, I guess if you go by those rules, it's Jaws. Hands down, it's Jaws. Like, the 50th anniversary this year, we saw the IMAX. Glorious. Like, absolutely glorious, you know. God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's the perfect movie. And you know why it's the perfect movie? It doesn't matter how fake the shark looks. That's how awesome the movie is, right?
Exactly.
If Spielberg ever special edition that shit, like Lucas, I would lose my mind. Like, no,
Yeah,
you
leave
say
it. You don't change a frame.
frame in that movie.
It's a Corman movie with a Spielberg eye, you know?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I remember Corman's famous quote of Jaws coming. He's like, well, I think we're screwed, boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously, I've done a lot, like, get interviewed a lot, especially after the last video sort of came out, and people will ask, like, top 5 favorite movies. So, again,
Depends
it's
on
tough.
the mood, man.
What mood am I in, right? I mean, usually I go with the, you know, run-of-the-mill Hitchcock Psycho, original Texas Chainsaw, 78 Body Snatchers, John Carpenter's Thing, and Return of the Living Dead. I fucking worship Return of the Living Dead. That movie, if you've never seen it in a movie theater, I hope you've had the chance to see it in the theater.
I've seen it at a drive-in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, screened it again earlier this year. It was the 40th anniversary, of course. And I always tell people, like, listen, man, Return of the Living Dead's playing in a theater. Bring a friend that's never seen it. It's such a party movie. I think I have that soundtrack on vinyl like 4 times over. Like, it's just that movie. That's the perfect blend of horror and humor. And I know because I saw it when I was 10 years old. I remember renting the old Thorn HBO VHS tape.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was a little bit scared, but then it was kind of funny. And then that's when 10-year-old Kev realized, you know what? I think I like punk rock girls. Thank you, Lydia. You know,
Same.
God bless.
The first boobs I ever saw, Linnea Quigley. I was 6. My dad and his friends were watching the movie, and they sent me upstairs. And like, my mom was really big into interior decorating in like the 1989, 1990 or whatever, and she loaded our living room with mirrors. So I was on the top of the steps, and I could see in the mirrors, I could see the reflection of what they were watching, and I saw Linnea Quigley doing the dance,
Yes.
and I was like, that's the first naked lady I ever saw, and punk rock chicks. You're right.
He was a childhood crush, and my heart broke. We had this convention here called Dead by Con in Edmonton, and it was the spring of 2020. So you think you know where this is going. And Linnea was coming, and my buddy who ran the thing goes, "Kev, do you want to do the Q&A with Linnea Quigley? Because I know she's like your first movie crush." And I'm like, I said no at first. I'm like, fuck that. Like, I don't care if she's 6'2". I'd be all nervous and stuff.
Sweating, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's like, dude, you gotta do it. So upon reflection, I'm like, yeah, I'm not wasting. So I studied for a week, man. I watched every YouTube video of her being interviewed, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. And then literally the weekend was the weekend the world shut down. Her plane landed here in our city, but she couldn't even leave the airport. She got back on and go back to the U.S. because everything.
Bust out the binoculars and like look at her from afar.
Dude, talk about being denied at the last minute. It just wasn't meant to be. Maybe
No stairway. Denied.
died. Yeah. But, no, I mean, yeah, it's been like, I'm still as broke as ever, and I still work all the jobs, keep the store going. But on the other hand, you know, getting to go to Fantastic Fest in Austin was unreal. Man, it was hot there. It was like September. It was like 40 degrees Celsius. It was humid as hell. But like, you know, our little silly little micro budget movie playing right next to the Toxic Avenger with Elijah Wood and Dinklage, and I'm like, this is weird, man. And I wasn't nervous at all. I'm like, man, if everybody hates this movie, it's okay. I'll never see these people in my life again.
Right.
But we'll premiere here in my home city at the theater. The theater fits 525 people. We sold out a week before the screening. All of my customers were there. Everybody I work with at the bars was there. And I'm like, holy shit, this is your life or something, you know? And I'm like, if these guys hate the movie, I'm never going to hear the end of it. And that premiered the movie. It was a 7 p.m. screening here on a Sunday. I opened my store at noon. By about 3 o'clock, I'm like, fuck this. I'm too nervous. So I went to the bar I work at, and I started hitting the shots. I was just boom, boom, boom. And to make matters weirder, for the last 10 years, there's a documentary being made about me and my video store. So the film crews been following me around. They followed me to Houston. They followed me when we were shooting the movie. Damn. They were going to follow me when I went last year for a film festival there. Luckily, they couldn't. But they got this all on film, and I'm on. The crowd's all pumped, and I'm like blubbering already. You know, I'm all emotional. I'm just an absolute wreck. But hey, some good things,
dude. You know, life is rad. It really is. I always say whenever we do little like conventions or whatever, and you know, we take our little micro budget movie, and a lot of kids, you know, like kids come up and want to like look at the monster mask and stuff like that, and I always say, like, you know, just be a good person, chase your dreams, and love life, you know, and
be good to people, you know. It's not a hard formula to follow. It really isn't. It's funny you mentioned kids. I was going to bring this up earlier. I figured the people that grew up on video store culture were going to get something out of our movie. And in fact, the early reviews, like, the movie's got a lot of heart, which I thought, oh, that's just a nice way of saying you tried, guys, but you gave it all. But no, and people said it, was there's that one scene in the movie where I'm sitting in the bedroom with Vanessa, and I'm like, you know, well, I used to get paid to talk movies, and then people stopped coming, or something like that, right? And I guess that's cool. But I've had buddies show like their 10-year-old kids our movie, because I think I've sold about 700 units through the store, through Arrow alone. But anyways, this one kid comes in, and he's about 6, and he's with his sister who's about 7, and the dad's like, my son has a question for you. And then the kid's like, how did you get back to the video store? And I'm like, oh shit, as a 6-year-old, they think it's real. And it's very real because I do have a video store. So I had to explain to him that after me and Castor bounced through a few movies, Castor told me I had to go back and open the video store in his loving Jason manner, you know. But then I thought it was cool. I have the cursed tape, the prop, it's behind my desk. I thought it was cool to show the little boy the tape. The minute I showed it, he freaked out at me. And he's like, don't you ever play that tape. Whoa. And I tried to show his sister, and the sister hid behind the mom's legs. It was adorable.
I love it.
Young man that I'm like, don't worry, son. The reason the tape's here is so I can keep an eye on it. So it can never get bad hands again.
That's right.
But
keeping the world safe, baby.
No, but it's cool, silly stuff like that, like, you know, I never thought like the day would come where like, hey, do you mind signing this? And I'm like, no, not at all, you know, like, I hope Arrow's probably happy going, man, we're selling a lot of this independent movie that we distributed a couple of years ago. I wonder what the connection is, you know? Like, it's cool to have the movie because it's always stocked on the shelf. Because, you know, when you go to some cool touristy place, you usually want to buy a T-shirt that says I was here or a key. Well, people are coming in like, well, I might as well buy the movie based off this cool store that I'm visiting. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude. You got built in.
Sure. I know you got, you have the physical release of the movie yourself?
Yes, I do. I got that Arrow.
Got the Arrow. I'm going to get send me your mailing address. I want to send you the Canadian release through Black Fawn. The bonus features are totally different, and we did a video commentary in the real video store for it.
Nice.
What you do is the movie plays in the bottom left corner, and it's me, my two directors, Tim and Cody, and Action Jackson, Josh, all sitting on my couch, kind of podcasting you through the whole thing, how we made it.
I love that, dude. Yeah, I definitely need that.
I'll send you a copy, brother.
Hell yeah, I will, and I'll send you some stupid videos of my video store that pales in comparison to your real video store. No one can buy things from my video store; they just borrow. So.
If you need some more, if you need some pictures, some video of my real store to give you an idea how it looks. I know there's a bunch on my Instagram if you scroll way down, but I can send you some images so you have a rough idea of how close the store actually is to the movie.
Yeah, I would love that because, like you said, like with the movie, you don't have nearly as many like cutouts and whatnot because obviously blocking, right? You got to you can't have shit in the way.
Reasons too, right? The idea of filming in the real video store was thought of. Everything would be blurred out. You'd have to blur things out. We don't have the rights to have that Evil Dead poster or the pin stand up that's in my store. And luckily, Charles Band gave us the rights for free to show any full moon thing in the store. He just said, "Yeah, go for it." Lloyd Kaufman, same thing. And obviously, Draft House Films. That's why you see like Wake and Fright, and obviously the Astron 6 stuff was everywhere.
Yeah. That's I mean, I know it's not the same thing. It's not here anymore. But in my set, I have a lot of little posters. And so like we have modified like the prom night poster and it's called The Stabber. And I changed it's all a bunch of Italian names. And it's like when he stabs you, you die as the tagline, like a bunch of modified stuff. So you're not like, look at all this copyright shit.
Funny you mentioned prom night. Just so you know, I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And the best horror movie ever filmed in our city was Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou.
Nice.
Then we had a screening of it on 35mm print about 10 years ago. Every dude that was at theater that was in their late 40s, early 50s, they were all the high school extras. All the students from that movie.
What?
Yeah, we also the Bill Goldberg classic Santa Slave was shot here in our city too.
Nice.
I do. We have Friday night screenings at the video store after I close. Everybody's welcome to be able to make popcorn, and a big projector screen comes down, and we let people vote on what movie to watch. We did that one during the holiday season. Big hits.
I love that's a really short, easy watch too. It doesn't. I don't even think it crests 90 minutes. It's pretty fast.
With our movie, with credits, it's like 82 minutes, right? But I always have this thing. I have this discussion with customers. I'm like, bring back the 90-minute movie. Bring like 89 minutes, especially if it's a genre movie. It does not need to be over 2 hours long. I mean, those last 3 Halloween movies were all 2 hours and 5 minutes, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Like, no, don't need it to be that long.
Yeah, pretty bloated.
Like Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is the perfect essential slasher movie. You probably picked up on our love for Friday the final chapter by using Beaver Lake 4.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of Easter eggs. I'm sure you got the address in my video store. The numbers are real, like 10815, but then it's like 10815, Unita Avenue.
Oh, yeah. Return of the Living Dead.
Television in the movie, a lot of people don't get this. My director found it on Kijiji in Ontario. That is the exact model and brand and year of the same TV from Poltergeist. It's the same television from Poltergeist.
Nice.
Little things like that I think stand out. The last one, and Joe Lynch picked this up on his podcast. The Prey Stalker was designed as that first crappy version of the Predator with Van Damme. Yeah, that was.
I love it. TV wise, the TV in the cabin is the Shempotron. Because it's not real. I mean, it's totally real.
Yes. Oh, barrage you with a shitload of photos from my store when I get there later tonight. Like, okay, and then there's this, and then this.
I love it. Yeah. I'm going to send you pictures of everything.
Yeah, no doubt. Because, it's when you meet a like-minded person that's into it, it's like, it's not bugging them, it's showing them awesomeness.
That's right. I think we are friends forever now. You just messed up. We're buddies forever.
Well, wait, did you say you're a June baby? You were born in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, so was I. June what?
7th.
23rd. Whatever.
June 7th, 84. If I was born on June 6th, I'd have the same birthday as Robert Englund, but...
Yeah, I'm 1 day off from Bruce Campbell. He was 22nd. I'm like, shit. But,
I suppose we can move on to this last segment, sir, if you are ready to throw down. All right.
One of these. Let's do it.
So now it's time to take a look at your hot takes.
hot takes. And I don't care if you like my hot takes, 'cause these are my motherfucking hot takes. Hot takes.
For this segment, sir, we are, in fact, the Deep Cut Podcast, and I would not be doing the name of that podcast justice if I did not endlessly scroll back through all of your social medias and look at a bunch of things that I've seen you say in one post or another that you like, you love, and then make you choose between A or B. So 10 different A-B choice questions. You can either rant and ramble as to why, or just say, this is my answer, next. So,
Okay.
all right. Some are cinema related, some are not, but like you said earlier, no politics, no bullshit. We don't do that. We're above that. So,
People take that garbage in the world, so.
That's right. I ain't about that. I want people to know who you are as a human being, the kind of stuff that you love, and get to know you. So, number 1, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits.
Ooh, fuck. Twilight Zone. Just because Rod Serling is a god. I mean, I've been re-binging the OG series earlier this year. The writing is still... What happened to good writing? You know, it still holds up. And,
Serling died. That's what happened.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Next, Full Moon, Canon.
I'm going to have to go with Canon on that one. I think early Full Moon has a lot of greatness, but Canon, if you were a kid in the 80s, that logo would pop up and you were ready for gold, especially from a kid's point of view. Like whether it was Shogasugi, Chuck Norris, Bronson, it didn't matter. Oh, Dudikoff. I mean, come on. Michael frickin' Dudikoff.
American Ninja, yeah.
He deserved a better fate as an actor, man. They really screwed him over. But no, Canon Films. I mean, where else are we going to get space vampires in London, aka Life Force, right? Where else? Saw Tobey Hooper's remake of Invaders from Mars in the theater when I was 10, you know?
Nice.
And Chainsaw 2 is a comedic masterpiece. It's bloody brilliant. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier with Shogasugi, if you were a kid in 1984, when Halloween came around, you either want to dress up as a Ghostbuster or as a ninja, because Enter, Revenge of the Ninja, and Ninja 3, The Domination is one of the wildest trilogies. Like, Sho plays the bad guy in the first one, the good guy in the second one, then he's a damn exorcism wizard in the third one.
I love to show people the third one with no context whatsoever. That's like my favorite thing to do.
It's like The Exorcist meets Flashdance meets a ninja movie, but it's got Lucinda from Breakin' and Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, and growing up. So yeah,
not nearly enough breakdancing. I'll just say.
Nope.
It. All right, number 3, cats or dogs.
I love all animals, but because I've never had the luxury of having a house with a yard, I'm an apartment guy, and I'm never home either. Right? Cats. For me personally, as my cat Ebert is rubbing against the computer right now. I had 2 brother cats. Sadly, one of them passed away, but I did name them Siskel and Ebert after the film critics. So I'm like, well, you guys are going to be watching movies with me all the time, and you're going to be judging me for my bad choices in life at 2 a.m. with some of these movies. Yes. But I feel like I cursed my cats, because in real life, Gene Siskel passed away like 1999, and my cat Siskel passed away when he was 12. But I got my cat who's about to walk by the camera right now.
I love it. See, you're a cat person, and they know.
half years old, and he's still kicking, you know? And so maybe you can make it to 20. I'd be okay with that. Okay, pal.
I love it. We had 2 cats, Merle and Daryl. I know you can understand where that came from. And they passed away. We had them for like 15 years. We have a dog now, Danny Torrance. So,
very
little mini pincher, and he's getting up there too. But yeah.
Appreciate the time you have with them, right?
Absolutely. All right, next one. This is a weird category, and this is tough for me, and I know this is going to be tough for people in the audience that know these films, but this is a film choice. I'm going to Get You, Sucker, or Black Dynamite.
I'm going to go... all the respect in the world for I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, because it came out first, obviously, and like the Wayans are awesome. I'm really pumped for Scary Movie 6, just because they own the property again. But I think Black Dynamite is perfection. And I mean that as in, I've shown Black Dynamite to people that didn't know what it was about, didn't know it was made in 2009. And until they recognized it's Michael Jai White, they were convinced this movie came out in 1974. The tone of it, the music, taking every blaxploitation story arc, ex-Vietnam, you gotta get the drugs off the street, you gotta fight the man, the kung fu, all of it, and wrapping it into one character. Like the fact that Black Dynamite himself is a mix of Black Belt Jones and probably, I want to say, Jim Brown, where I love Bullhorn. Bullhorn is literally Dolomite. He is Rudy Ray Moore, you know?
Yeah.
And the fact that they kept that scene in, I love that scene in the pool hall, which was based off a real event that happened on one of the films in the 70s, where a dude really punched the dude and a fight broke out and they had to switch the actor real quick. And obviously, if you remember that scene, there's just too much to laugh at. Who cannot die laughing when he throws the I threw that shit before I came in the room.
I was literally just going to say, I quote that like on a daily basis. I threw that shit before I came in the room.
The first time I watched that movie, I spit out whatever I was drinking. Like, that line just caught me off.
Nunchucks, right? They fly through the window.
And how they come to the conclusion that Anaconda malt liquor shrinks your dick, like with the whole breaking, in the and I love, who doesn't love the pimp scene with Pimp Captain Kangaroo? Yeah. And I'm like, Hall in there, and Miguel Nunez Jr. from Return of the Living Dead is one of the pimps.
Damn right. That's such a good movie, man.
So good.
Yeah.
But speaking of Miguel, that dude, there's a guy I'd like to meet at a convention. He's been around forever. He doesn't get you forget he worked with Eddie Murphy. I think it was Harlem Nights he was in, and he taught us about enchiladas. I even have copies of Juana Man in my store just because he got to star in that movie.
Also, Kicking It Old School, which is criminally underrated, I genuinely love.
And I'm like, yeah. Anyways, props to Miguel Nunez Jr., a working actor's man.
Yeah.
He's
I also love Return of the Living Dead when he didn't realize he was going to get slapped the second time.
Yeah. So he was pissed too. Yeah. Yeah.
See it.
That story is great. Speaking of slaps to the face, did you remember the Stallone movie Oscar, where it's like a mafia comedy? It came out in 91.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Totally bombed, but you should give it a watch. It's Tim Curry, Marissa Tomei, Chaz Palminteri. Great movie. And Stallone showed, I know he did Stop or Mom Will Shoot, which was terrible, but this was, there's an opening scene where Kirk Douglas plays his father, and he's dying on the bed, and he promises him he'll make the business go legit, no more gangster shit. Well, the story goes that Kirk Douglas was apparently supposed to be Richard Crenna's role in First Blood, but it didn't work out. And I guess Douglas kind of blames Stallone on that. So, cut to Oscar, that scene allowed Kirk Douglas to slap Stallone across the face. And if you watch that opening scene, he bitch slapped him hard. He said, there, now we're even, 10 years later.
Here's your receipt. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, man.
Fuck, into wrestling, man. We're going to be here forever. This is beautiful. All right, next question.
All right, well, seasons, winter versus summer. I know you are in Canada, so it's always winter there, I believe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I would have been in my igloo to podcast this one for you guys, but, I thought I'd make it look respectable, like we actually have walls and stuff. Well, honestly, my favorite season is neither fall. Autumn is the greatest season of them all. I fucking love autumn. It gets a bad rap because winter's next. Yeah, where I live, obviously, it can be like minus 30, 40 in February. It's not bad now. It's like 0 degrees. It's nice. You get used to it.
Shorts weather. Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm not the biggest Christmas guy, but I find Christmas without snow super fucking weird. Like, I've only had that happen a couple times where I'm visiting friends or relatives, and I'm like, where's the snow, dude? Like, I need it, man. I need it.
Yeah.
But, if I had to pick, I'd say summer because it's a dry heat up here. So it's not humid. I don't know how people, in Florida or even Austin when I was down there, it's so humid, dude. Sticks to you. At least here, even in the wintertime, it's a dry cold, too. So if you're bundled up, you're fine. But if you're, more east, like Toronto or maybe Boston or somewhere around there, like it cuts through you. It doesn't matter how much you have, right?
Yeah. I am not a winter, which we live in the Midwest. We live in Iowa. Breaking kayfabe, we're not in Brower, Illinois. We're in Iowa. And it's like cold like 7 months out of the year here. And I don't know why we have never moved. I don't know why. But maybe once the kids graduate and move, we'll venture to warmer climates. But who knows?
Home is hard is though, right? I asked, like, I got my directors, whether they don't get winter, right? It's just rainy or whatever. Like, Kev, how can you just open the video store in Vancouver? I'm like, first of all, it's way too expensive. It's too big of a city for me. I like where I live because it's a big city. Population's over 1 million here, but it's a big, small city where you know where everything is, right?
Yeah, everything's like separated, so it's not all like just on top of each other.
I live in like the cool artsy district of my city. Pubs and movie theaters, video store, and just a lot of live music, stuff like that, right? But like I've been to Toronto, like it's too big. Vancouver's too. The only big city I fell in love with was Montreal, actually, because as a kid I grew up in Germany. So oldest city in Canada, so the architecture is like beautiful, right?
Right.
And yeah, Montreal, a lot of lovely people out there. I'll say that. And you don't have to speak French, which I learned real quick too, because I couldn't for the life of me. I took French. We had to take it, in school for years. I don't remember a damn thing.
I was going to say, do you speak French?
Oh, God, no. Well, the funny thing is, I used to speak fluent German because when I was a kid, I lived in Germany. But then we moved to Canada. We stopped using it, and I kind of forgot it all. Because, like, as a child, you're like a sponge. You can soak up so much, right?
Right.
But no, I'm sadly, I find the people with the best superpowers in the world I got buddies that can speak like 5 or 6 languages, and that's insane.
I don't know how you can fit all that in your brain.
Dude, I remember I saw Inglourious Basterds with a buddy of mine, and he used like 3 different languages in that movie. He didn't have to read a single subtitle. He's like, I can hear it all. I'm like, God damn you, you're good, man. You're
He's
good.
Like differentiating the dialect, like like the movie's spoiled. I already know. Yeah. All right, next one. We touched on one of them already, but this is a director question. Corman, Cohen.
Corman or Cohen?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in fairness, like when I think of Corman, I think more of him as a producer. Like, I know, like, yeah, I mean, he was passionate about all the Edgar Allan Poe adaptions with Vincent and, but I mean, I think I'll always love Death Race. But we're talking Larry Cohen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about eclectic cinema. Larry Cohen can go from doing like Black Caesar with Fred the Hammer Williamson, which I love, and Hell Up in Harlem, by the way, for going back to exploitation. Man, that James Brown soundtrack's a banger. And he can give us Q the Winged Serpent, and he can give us The Stuff, and Maniac Cop, which, I know Ludwig. Wait, did Ludwig directed it and Cohen wrote it? I think that's
right.
He's Cohen's a prolific writer, right?
Yeah.
So that documentary, King Cohen was fantastic, and it's just sad that he passed because he's like, come interview me again in 5 years. I'm gonna go with Cohen on this one.
Nice.
But it's close. It's very close.
Okay. So when we met Cohen, I think it would have been 2016 at Crypticon in Kansas City, and dude, he was so funny. He had a fruit basket on his table, and he had bananas, and we were talking, and we were just like having a normal conversation, and then while we're talking, he just peels this banana, and then he just puts like half of it in his mouth, and then he just continued to talk to me like you couldn't understand him. He was just like doing a gag, and everyone around me was like, what's wrong with this guy? And it was just comedy genius. He was like just having the most fun ever. And yeah.
Well, also, and the one thing you gotta love about both of those guys is their no give a shit attitude to shoot something without any permits.
Yeah, like Q. Yeah.
I love watching like something like I think it was Black Caesar, where Fred the Hammer is getting in a fight with a guy at the airport, and they're jumping all over those suitcases. Like, those are real people's suitcases. Those are not actors in the background. I'm like, man, if you tried to do a mock fight at airport today, you'd be shot.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, but or like. And honestly, Cohen did one of my favorite Masters of Horror episodes. Pick Me Up.
Yeah.
With the
it's like the second episode, I think. Maybe.
And you also got to give props up to Larry Cohen because he was the only one who could wrangle in Michael Moriarty. Like, you know, a lot of guys did not enjoy working with Michael Moriarty, apparently. He was a tough one. But
he did kick ass on Law and Order, just going to say.
Yes, he did. He, absolutely. But, yeah, so, no, Larry Cohen, and it's sad he's gone too. We'll meet him. Yeah,
both legends. Next one. This is between two movies. This is a hot topic, I guess. My co-host and I, we go back and forth on this. So, The Wraith or The Crow, because they're the same movie.
So it's the same movie, dude. It's so I sell or rent out The Wraith every couple weeks. And when somebody asks me, you guys nailed that description. When somebody asks me, what's The Wraith like? It's like The Crow with cars, but it's in the 80s and it's got Chuck Sheen, Randy Quaid, and Clint Howard. Okay, because my high school years were the early 90s, and I was, into industrial music and all that. And what happened with Brandon Lee, and then the first time we saw The Crow was actually the drive-in in '94. I just turned 18. It just, that soundtrack, that movie encapsulates that 90s era perfect. Like that, if you were into that kind of stuff.
That pre-Matrix.
I'm gonna go with a personal. I'm not saying which movie's better. That can be. There's no right or wrong answer.
Exactly.
Everybody's allowed to have their opinion. But The Crow. In fact, I'm so passionate with The Crow that when that god awful Sarsgaard one came out, I wouldn't even allow it in my store.
I refused. I haven't watched it.
A customer asked me, Kev, can you order it in for me? And I'm like, because I get a shipment of like $4,000 of movies in every week. And I'm like, I will order it for you. It will never enter my video store. I will give it to you outside of the store. You give me money. I've never felt that passionate about letting my personal taste get in the way of business. But in that case, I just, no, this is wrong on every level. Like, I don't, you can make Crow 5, 6, 7, 8. That's fine. I'm not offended by that at all. Never offended by a shitty sequel or even a friggin' television spin-off, whatever you want to do. But don't remake this movie. The guy literally gave his life for it. You not let. So I'm gonna go with Crow.
Nice. Yeah, draw the line in the sand and keep that outside of the video store.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we champion both of the movies here. I am firmly in the Wraith, and my co-host is a big Crow guy. We did a Clint Howard appreciation month where we covered 4 Clint Howard movies, and
Evil Speak?
Yes, we did.
That's like a Clint Howard movie.
Yep, we covered, I'll send it to you. We covered Evil Speak, we covered The Wraith, we covered I can't remember off the top of my head, but those two for sure. But yeah, I love The Wraith. Plus the 80s boobs don't hurt, you know what I mean? Like it's a rock and roll fun.
It sucks getting older, but I'm so glad I grew up as an 80s and 90s kid. And the movies and just the love of it all. And again, not to get too deep and philosophical, but it's not a young people don't get it, because no, they do. In fact, I got a lot of cool young regulars that prefer 80s movies. They literally go out of the way. They want the 80s because they want, especially when it comes to horror movies, they love practical effects.
Right.
They pick a CGI. It's just, there's nothing, you can do anything you want now, but there's the charm is not there, like practical effects and something about the 80s. It was just, when it came to movies, there was more excitement. It was more of an event going to the, well, it was an event going to the theaters or going to the video store like we talked about earlier, because now everything is a click away. So it's not that exciting. Exactly. Or if you don't theater opening weekend, like, don't worry guys, it'll be on streaming by 2 weeks from now. I'll wait till.
Or the same day.
Yeah, right? It's crazy.
Which is like, that.
Like, you have to understand, in the 80s, if you missed it in the theater, you might have to wait up to a year before it hits VHS or beta.
Yeah, you're getting bare minimum like 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. And then, unless it's a sell-through tape like a Batman or Who Framed Roger Rabbit, were like the first ones to do it, or E.T., good luck buying a copy for $89.95, and that is $80s. So the first VHS tape I saved up money to buy, and it was half price at $50. And again, this is 1989. Was Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers?
Woo, that is steep.
Yeah, I'll always have up for that movie.
That's a great one. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I saw it the same year. Yeah, that I rented that and Child's Play. I was 12. Yeah, when they both hit VHS.
That's a fucking awesome double feature, dude.
Absolutely.
Next, sports question: hockey, professional wrestling.
You're gonna make it be the stereotypical Canadian. But then again, the Heart Dungeon is only a 3-hour drive from here. I'm Calgary. Let me just say, in the 80s, so our hockey team is the Edmonton Oilers. So we had Wayne Gretzky back then. So like it was champion after championship. So it was hockey all the way. But then the 90s, the team was garbage, and the Attitude Era began wrestling. I was 100% sucked into every Monday night Raw and Nitro, and like it was insane. That was like, to me, the golden era of wrestling.
Peak.
Like I don't think it'll ever come back between 96 to 2002, basically.
Yeah.
Still diehard wrestling fan. But believe it or not, once I opened the video store, I had to work every day, so I kind of fell out of touch. And I did watch Cena's last thing there a couple weeks ago. I still don't want to talk about that. But and I watched the last AEW pay-per-view. My girlfriend's a diehard wrestling fan. She used to wrestle locally here. She's all like 5'0", but completely tattooed. And she knows, she's all about Japanese pro wrestling and all that shit. Like she can talk your ear off.
I love it.
But overall consistency over the last 30 years of my life, I'm gonna have to go with hockey, but I do love me a damn good pay-per-view, and the Royal Rumble's coming up, and that's always the best pay-per-view of the year. And we're degenerate gamblers at the bar we work at, so we gamble on the Royal Rumble. Now you're thinking, oh man, that's no fair, because if you think you know who's going to win, you just pick them. But no, you draw numbers out of a hat, and that's your guy.
I love that, dude. That's so rad.
Yeah, dude. We do a $5 hat, a $10 hat, a $20 hat, so you can buy into all three. And now that there's women's and men's Rumbles, there's 6 hats. So one year, me and my buddy's table, we won. Oh crap! I won $600 off the men's one, and then he won like $800 off the women's one. So it was a glorious night at the pub.
Drinks on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's so rad. Well, this is another, I guess, a stereotypical Canadian question. This is food. Poutine or cheeseburgers?
I'm gonna go with cheeseburgers. The thing is, if I lived more East Coast Canada, like if I was French Canadian, it wouldn't even be a thing. But if you ever go to Montreal or Quebec, you have to have the poutine there. That's like the legit source of goodness, you know.
Yeah.
But I live in Alberta, and beef is king here. It's basically Texas North, right, as far as the food goes.
Right.
But I love them both, man. I'm actually, it's funny. The girlfriend's vegan. I am not. But so half the week I eat vegan food, and the other half, like, okay, back to business here. But good cheeseburger with some bacon on it. Oh, baby love. That's tough to beat. Like the 2 greatest smells to wake up to in the morning are coffee and bacon. Like it's just, I'm out of bed, I'm up, I smell it. And even talk where like instead of making noise, it just sends out the smelling smells of coffee and bacon like at the same time. I'd be out of bed so quick.
It's that Mitch Hedberg joke. I was like, I wish I had a candle that smelled, or an incense burner that smelled like cinnamon rolls, so my roommates would wake up with false hopes. I wish there was a bacon scented candle just to mess with you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's even worse when like, a few apartment buildings where somebody's cooking bacon down the hallway and I can smell it. And I'm like, I just want to knock on their door. I'm like, it's kind of rude if you're not going to offer a piece of bacon to everybody on your floor, because we all smell it, and it's killing us, man, in the best way possible.
Yeah, hook it up. Just one piece. That's all I need. All right, last one.
Yeah.
You already brought this person up, but I'm gonna make you choose between Linnea Quigley and Michelle Bauer. I think I already know, but
I gotta go with Linnea. I gotta go because again, I never met her, but I know like she's pretty tiny, right? Like she's like, and I think it was actually it was shocking. It was my partner that said I'm the same size as Linnea Quigley. I'm like, how do you know that? They have the same shoe size apparently, and obviously not just for the that young adolescent hormonal Kevin of me back then, but the movies. I mean, I how many times I've seen Return and Silent Night, Deadly Night, Creepazoid rules, and dude, I'll still, even though they shot it in 8 days, and it's one of the only movies where she doesn't get naked. But come on, Sorority Babes, the Slime Bowlerama is so ridiculous, and the fact that they had the title first, they had 8 days to film in a bowling alley with no script, and I'm like. And it's still a popular seller to this day.
Yeah, it's like, a killer poster art, and it's a fun ass movie.
Dude, it really is. Yeah, and I was shocked when they made a part 2 a couple of years ago that hit the shop. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard it was not so. Didn't have the charm.
I didn't see it, but I heard that the original title of that just called like The Imp. So I'm really glad they went with.
Yeah, whoever came up with the proper title, I hope they got a raise. Good old. Because, like, that is the kind of title that if you saw that as a 12-year-old kid in a video store on the shelf, you are renting that movie. There's just ifs, ands, or about it. It's kind of like seeing the cover of Pieces and going, Pieces, it's exactly what you think it is.
Exactly, yep. Or like Class of Nukem High. The cover of Class of Nukem High, you're like, I'm renting this. Oh,
for sure. Do you have a favorite trauma movie?
That's tough, dude. So
only directed, of course.
Right. So part of me, this is not a Trauma movie, and so Lloyd didn't direct it, but Trauma put it back out. So can I use that as a caveat?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, so basically they distributed it, but it'd be Night Beast.
Yeah.
I'm such a Don Dohler mark. I worship Don Dohler. So, but if it's just pure Trauma, it's probably Terra Firma.
Okay, yeah, Terra Firma, that's a good one. Me personally, I go with Romeo and Juliet. Well, first of all, when you got Lemmy introduced in the movie, I mean, God, man, I tell you, Lemmy, look, I'm not the biggest Motorhead fan, but I'm a massive Lemmy fan, He was best Motorhead, obviously. When Lemmy passed away, we all took it pretty hard up here, especially at the bar, right? In fact, I remember they were showing his wake live on YouTube or whatever. So yeah, it was a tough watch, and then but we opened the bar up for that wake. It was a Saturday afternoon, I think, but the only deal was you could only drink Jack and Cokes. With nothing else, we served nothing else. It was only Jack and Cokes all day.
I love it.
But I love that, Lemmy, and even though I wasn't that big on the new Toxic Avenger, I went to see with some buddies in the theater, and it's fine. It's a little bit too. They can't really recapture that 80s greasy New Jersey independent kind of feel to it as much as you want to try.
Right.
But tribute they paid to Motorhead and Lemmy, where Dinklage is singing. Did you see the movie?
I didn't. It is my Walmart of all, it's the only place you can buy physical media in my town has it. And I pulled the trigger on Black Phone 2 instead of Toxic Avenger.
Oh, yeah. My copies of Black Phone 2 showed up last week in the shop. I wasn't huge on Black Phone 1. I thought it was a little bit too overhyped by the time I saw it. It was good, but it wasn't great. I kind of like Black Phone 2 because, it's a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff, basically. But that's fine. It's not the first movie to do that.
Right.
And I love the winter setting. Maybe that's the Canadian in me. It kind of looked like Beaver Lake. Yeah. I'm not even joking. They went out there, I'm like, whoa.
And it kind of had like a Curtains callback.
Curtains is a Canadian jammer. I was recently interviewed up here by a kind of a Canadian type of celebrity who does docs, and we were talking about Canucksploitation cinema at my store, and Curtains is. I always tell people, look, any slasher movie between 1978 and 1984, assume they were shot in Canada and they're Canadian, even though you don't think. As the tax credit, the shelter credit back then, it's wild how many movies I didn't even know were Canadian.
Dude,
wait, that's
so many, yeah.
From that era, it's wild. depending on the movie, it tells you what part of Canada it is. Like My Bloody Valentine was shot in the Maritimes, and you could tell there's Moosehead beer in every friggin' scene of that movie. God bless. Or something like the Jason Eisner's Hobo with a Shotgun is so Nova Scotia. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where like something like Wolf Cop is Lowell Green. That's like the prairies. Wolf Cop was shot here, and like all the Asteron 6 guys stuff. Like Winnipeg is becoming Manitoba up here. Like man, they had like a couple Wrong Turns were shot there. Both the Nobody and Nobody Part 2 were both shot in like Manitoba. Like a lot of stuff's getting shot up here.
Hell yeah.
Season 1 of us, they used our city for the downtown. They shut the whole downtown down for The Last of Us here.
Oh, that's badass, dude.
Yeah, man. It's really surreal. It's but man, got totally saturated. Yeah, I was going from a trauma to
No, it's all good.
Romeo and Juliet, because I always tell my customers, hey guys, this is James Gunn's first movie that he got paid $250 to write and co-direct, and his brother Sean is wearing a big awesome pumpkin shirt in it.
And it's also Tiffany Shepis, I think, was her first movie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
With a weird sidebar to Tiffany Shepis that goes back to Joe Lynch and the Movie Crypt, because you were just on there. Tiffany Shepis was on the Movie Crypt, and they were asking her about like getting started, and she mentioned a local film director named Patrick Ray that lives about 2.5 hours from me.
Oh, crazy.
And she was basically like, he takes on anybody, like for PAs or whatever, so you just kind of reach out to this Patrick Ray. He made a movie called I Am Lisa. He made Nail Biter, a couple other like really cheap horror movies. But
I Am Lisa. Oh, yeah. I don't know about Nail Biter. Okay. All right.
And so she just basically was like, if you want to get involved in film, you hit him up. Just brought it up in passing. And I was working at a crappy factory job and was listening to the Movie Crypt. And I knew Patrick from the convention circuit. So it's like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I'm just going to shoot him a Facebook message. What's the worst that he could say is, no, you can't work on anything with me. And by the time I got off work, he was like, yeah, I'm shooting a Hallmark movie. So I need PAs if you want to make the trip. So I drove, 2-3 hours and worked at like 4 days on a Hallmark movie with him as like a guy who carried shit around.
Cool, man. It's how to get experience. Like again, for me, it was, rather than like just secluding myself when we were shooting the last video store, I wanted to hang out with the Grips and all those guys. They were the cool guys. And I cause this is all new to me, I'm like, wow, this is like, it was still, again, it was a micro budget movie, but it was like, we were in a real film studio. Like
right.
We had that set, and all the lighting and all the gear, and there was so much gear. Like it was crazy. But yeah, soak it all in.
Yeah, you go from shooting like shorts and stuff with your core group of friends, and then all of a sudden there's like 20 other people on the side of the camera, and it's like it's the same thing, just magnified a little bit,
But it's kind of funny the way the shooting process went, though. It started off in this big, beautiful studio in Hamilton with like a crew of 30, and then we go to, it was like, wow, this is professional. And then we go to reshoots out in Vancouver, and it's like, it's a smaller little studio, and now it's just green screen, and there's like maybe 6 or 7 of us. And then literally shooting at the very end, we were shooting in Cody, my director's living room, with one green screen, and there's Josh or Jackson holding up a dummy head or whatever, and I'm holding a light, and I'm like, it'd be like, oh great, now we're broke, we have no money, and we're shooting in our living room. Yeah. And then we did one real shot in the real video store, and it's a close-up of me when I'm tripping balls on the Prey Stalker thing. That's me on my real couch for like one shot.
Nice.
So we can shot one thing in the real store. So
dude, I mean, as long as it, if it cuts together and tells the story, you know what I mean? It's like, who cares where the insert of like my hand was or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
and because we ran out of money, like Cody, not only was he filming, he was editing every night, and he had to do the VFX. And there are so many VFX shots in that movie. In fact, one of the bonus features on the Canadian release, which I'm going to mail you, it does the before and after thing. Like even I was like, oh shit, that was a VFX shot? Like half of the roof was fake. Like we didn't have enough panels to fill the whole roof. So it was all VFX later. Obviously the gumball was all fake. I mean, just little like things you would assume is real isn't real, you
right.
know. And,
Did he go to school for that, or is he self-taught?
They're all self-taught, man. That's because they're younger than me, right? So they're all in their mid 30s, I want to say. So, you know, I mean, the way these with the YouTube tutorial videos and all this stuff, and you have the right equipment and the right programs. I mean, do you have to go to film school anymore? I had so many buddies spend I think it was like Vancouver Film School in the 90s. It was like, dude, Canadian money, it was like 25 grand for one semester. And I had one buddy go, and I think the only gig out of it, he was a security guy on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles television live series. Oof. And then people go back broke, and they're like, well, that was a waste. We should have just done it ourselves, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And growing up in the 90s, especially with the independent, you know, like Kevin Smith and Tarantino and all that, I mean, it really inspired. Of course, now with everything being digital, how hard is it to save up some money, buy a camera, buy some gear, and you can figure it out if you're smart enough.
Yeah. There's that famous Tarantino quote, like, I didn't go to film school, I went to films, you know. Yeah. Watch enough stuff, absorb enough stuff, and then you can't help but, I mean, you might not make Gone with the Wind, but you can't help but make something rad, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, it's funny. I was thinking, like, wouldn't it'd be kind of cool if, like, Kevin Smith saw the movie. I don't know if he gets something out of it. Because it was always weird just describing the movie to people that haven't seen it. And I always hate where you got to do that. It's this meets this to sell your movie. So it goes, some guys like, it's Clerks meets Evil Dead or it was another one too. I always hated that though. I'm like, when people say, because a lot of people, they thought it was a horror movie. Like, it's not a horror movie. Like, so I call our movie, it's a B movie video store adventure film. That's what I like to describe.
It's a tribute to a very specific feeling, not even a time. It's a tribute to a feeling.
And it's also a tribute. It's not a tribute to Blockbuster. It's a tribute to, like, the mom and pop video stores that were around in every corner. I never had nostalgia for Blockbuster. In fact, I loathe Blockbuster. Because came into our city, the smaller independent chains couldn't compete. They closed down. But Blockbuster was not carrying the cool 70s exploitation weird shit. Like, it was the smaller stores where I discovered, you know, nunsploitation and blaxploitation and some greasy stuff and all the cool independent slasher movies. Blockbuster would never carry those. They have no interest.
Yeah, no, because you don't need 40 copies of The Fugitive. You need some guy behind a counter to be like, hey, you ever seen Ghost in the Machine? Well, that's a bad example. Ghost in the Machine's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying.
You mean, and also their uniforms were god awful. But the nostalgia for Blockbuster to me is, I mean, I'm happy for those that are nostalgia, and maybe just because they were like legit kids in the 90s, like 10 years old in the late 90s. Yeah, Blockbuster would be awesome for sure. They did have a good video in that, but the fact that with the indie stores, the mom and pop stores, 10-year-old me could walk out with Dawn of the Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and nobody blinked an eye. The minute Blockbuster came around, they're like, "You're not 18." I'm like, "What does that have to do with anything?" You know, just
right.
I can trust me, it's cool. Like, even if my parents wrote a note, it wouldn't work, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm a generation where I could literally go to a corner store with a note from my mother or stepmom for a pack of smokes, and it was legit too. Like, it was legit, and they wouldn't. Yeah, there you go. Say hi to your mom, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because
different time. It wasn't Stranger Things, but it was different, you know. And like, actually, I haven't bothered watching the season 5 of Stranger Things. I think it's been too long. I've kind of lost interest after season 4. I'll get around.
I also have not. I've got a bunch of buddies that are like, "Dude, have you watched it?" I'm like, "No, I haven't. I haven't pulled the trigger on it." The last series thing that I watched was Welcome to Derry, because I was very intrigued. So I watched Welcome to Derry.
It was great. I have not watched any of it, and the reason I can wait is because it's getting a physical release in March. Yep. I want to say, so it'll be coming to my shop, and again, I'm totally cool with that. It's the same reason I haven't watched Del Toro's Frankenstein yet. I missed it in theaters, and I'm not watching it on Netflix. I admit it's a bit hypocritical. I don't want to be that guy, you know, like.
Yeah, well, I get you. I mean, it gets all blocky and weird and loads funny.
Yeah, so Criterion is putting out Frankenstein. So you need more directors like Del Toro and what's his name? He did Midnight Mass and all the Stephen King stuff. Mike Flanagan.
Okay.
You need like that to step up and say, hey, I want my stuff on physical media. And they are. Fincher's the same way. And the more directors step up, I think more it'll help us collectors and obviously selfishly a business like mine stay alive, because these guys, these directors of today's era, they grew up on video store culture as well. So it means a lot to them. They still want to see it go straight to streaming. I mean, if our movie would have just went straight to streaming and not get a physical release, a movie called The Last Video Store, only available or something, I would have been dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we got VHS tape copies of our movie that the Canadian company made for us. They've been selling pretty. Yeah. But, I mean, man, I could ramble here all day with you, brother.
Dude, we'll just have to bring you back, man.
Dude, honor, man.
I really appreciate you coming on here. So to wrap it up then, just let everybody watching, listening, or however the hell they're consuming this know where to find you, all of your socials, where to find your movie, and I'll let you get on with your life, because I know you had a late night and you need some more caffeine, I'm sure.
One more coffee, and then I gotta do the adulting stuff. My one off, groceries, make sure my cab member swam, maybe laundry, that old thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not the most social media savvy guy. I'm definitely never gonna be on TikTok. That's my buddies were like, "Oh, dude, you should start a TikTok account for the video." So I'm like, "Hell no. I stare at my phone too much as it is. I need to take a step back." But my favorite platform to use is generally Instagram, because it's pictures, man. It's super simple, no negativity. And on Instagram, my name is Kevin, so it's a simple Video Store Kev. And that's where a lot of people message me from wherever they're at, and we talk movies or I recommend and stuff. There is a group page for the store on Facebook, but the real video store is called the Lobby DVD Shop, where in the movie it's called Blaster Video. I was kind of bummed out we couldn't use the real name of the store. I mean, talk about the ultimate commercial for my store. But
yeah, no kidding.
They had to separate the art from the artist. And in fact, I even had to sign away my likeness. This is a true story in a contract where we filmed, where Kevin, the video store guy, I sold my rights away as me, which is really meta and weird, Yeah, you can find me, find the shop on Facebook. There is also a website for the video store too. Our short films, I believe, are on our website. And the website is thelobbymovies.com. Aside from that, hey man, if you're ever in Edmonton, Canada, come visit me, Google me. I'm around 7 days a week usually, and we can shoot the shit about bad and good cinema all at once. And hopefully maybe a couple more gigs are coming up in the future, and rock and roll. Maybe I can. My goal in life, as I know, as a almost guy turning 50. And if I ever wanted to keep pursuing this acting thing, which I don't know, but because I have the oddly looking face, my dream is to be the next Crazy Ralph or the bartender from My Bloody Valentine who gets to tell those damn kids not snooping where they don't belong. I want to, heed my warning.
Yes, with the 3D eyeball, yeah.
Eyeball, or the Gravedigger in Protein Part 6. Dig him up.
You think I'm a fart head?
Fart head. I want to be those amazing grizzled character actors.
I might have to fly you out.
Well, I might be getting like a small acting gig for like all 2 scenes out in England. You have to find it, they might be flying me out to like Essex, England for like 1 week of shooting in a scenario where I could probably film it here in Canada, just send the footage. But they're like, no, we get the money, we'll fly you out.
Vacation,
and,
going on a vacation.
And that's the way I look at it. And it's being produced by now a friend of mine who I met in Austin, Texas, Jake West, who directed Evil Aliens and Doghouse. And he did the Video Nasties documentaries out there. Yeah, really, really awesome guy. He's like he looks like Billy Idol's distant relative or something. Anyways, we'll see what happens. But honestly, my main goal is just keep the video store going, man. I don't have a choice now. I wasn't intending to be the last video store in my city, but I am. So I feel like the Templar Knights in Last Crusade, when they're like guarding the Holy Grail. It's like, can I leave now? No, you cannot leave. Or movie genre comparable. I am Sam Neill, and this is the Event Horizon. She won't let us leave. Or I guess I'd go Jack Torrance in the Overlook Hotel too. But you get it.
Yes.
I love it.
All right. Well, on that note, I suppose we should probably get going because, after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Yeah, well, maybe we can catch up in a few months and we can shoot the shit about the good and the bad so far in 2026. Who knows?
Thank you for listening to the Deep Cut Podcast. We sure had a blast trying to make you all laugh. You gotta set your reminders and get ready to geek, 'cause there's a brand new episode every 2 weeks. Now that you're done with the show, leave a comment on that shit and let us know your movie prop pick. Find it on Spotify with tons of episodes. Excellent shows that'll make your head explode. Every 2 weeks there's a new episode, so rate us and